and we're in on this stuff. Welcome. This is going to be kind of a first of hopefully many for us. We're going to do a little bit of a review on some Dying Light 2 trailers and some gameplay that we've seen so far. I got Dead Guy here with me. As some of you have seen in the past, we're kind of pretty avid Dying Light fans and players, so seeing the stuff for Dying Light 2, we kind of have our mixed opinions and feelings on it, but we share a little bit with you guys. So, found a couple of the official trailers and stuff to kind of go on in the background. I know Dead Guy here's got some harsher opinions on it.
That's saying the least, yeah.
But
I had really high hopes for this game.
well, I'd still got some hope for it. I've seen it. Personally, I feel like it's got potential, but I've said that before and been gravely disappointed. So we'll we'll see how it goes. I know one of the first things we were kind of talking about with it was a lot of the animations and stuff, a lot of the graphics of it, and not necessarily the graphics themselves as far as like graphic quality, but particularly like facial animation, character animation, and then just the overall look of
the world itself is just not Dying Light to me.
Yeah, it seems to have a little bit of a lighter feel to it.
It's almost cartoonish.
Yeah, I can definitely see that with it. The the facial animation though.
You got it running on your screen?
Yeah.
Alright.
What page? Yeah. I kind of see what they're doing here with the cutscene and the power coming on, and then it inevitably going back dark here in just a second. But I kind of see what they're trying to do storyline wise, as far as showing like, hey, we're starting to get back to normal humanity and having a power grid and stuff, and then it goes bad. I'm assuming that's gonna go into a whole goddamn quest line of trying to fix that, I guess.
Well, that's a lot of what I've been seeing just with their game trailers. A lot of the quests are just pretty basic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do anything new for the genre.
Okay, this bag that she's handing right here, this thing is something that we had some very harsh opinions on. Because there is just a lot of like one thing that I know I liked a lot about it. I know Dead Guy liked was a lot of the physics and stuff of Dying Light 1. There was a lot of stuff that just made sense with doing doing what you were doing in the game. You know, you fell. There's just a lot of the physics of it, and like these hang glider parachute things. Just I don't know. Don't make a whole lot of sense to me that way.
Right, right. It's like they took the grappling hook out and replaced it with something lesser than. Because especially when you're in the game playing, it's just a real jolting experience to go from you're falling out of a building and a hang glider, and the animations just don't make it feel like you have weight in this world to me. It's like you're a feather.
Yeah, you're not a what I'm assuming would be like where did he just put that thing? Did he just let it go? Like, is it just gone? Because I don't know if they realize, but that's how parachutes and crap work. You just let go of that son of a bitch, it's gone. You gotta like repack it. I've done it. It sucks.
Right? Who's gonna spend the time to do that in a zombie apocalypse?
Well, I mean, I guess you could do it real hastily, but that's your own. that's gonna be you falling to the ground.
Right.
And like this right
Although,
here,
I will also go ahead.
well, like that right there. I know we had touched on that a bit when we were talking kind of pre-stream here on like that parachute getting stuck. Like, there's no way that wouldn't have like hit the top of that window and ended up just basically snatching
Let's
you,
do it,
bringing the
guys.
glass out. Yeah, like right there. It just doesn't feel it. It just feels kind of immersion breaking for me, which I know there's a lot of different people out there that focus on different aspects of a game, but for me, there's a lot of that realism and stuff. And, like it just stuff like that doesn't do it for me.
Right. And the argument's going to be, oh, well, there's zombies and shit. And it's like, well, yeah, I can suspend my disbelief on that long enough to enjoy the game and be immersed in this world. But when you're telling me that a parachute / hang glider thing smashes into the side of the building and Aiden doesn't get hurt from it or get tangled up in it and eaten, there's a little bit of a problem there with me. Because even in the first game, as soon as Kyle Crane dropped on the ground, what happened to him? He got attacked. He got bit. And that straight off had you invested in his story.
Yeah.
Is he going to live? Is he going to die? Are these people he's meeting? Are they his friends, his foes? What's going to happen? I don't feel like this game has that approach, has that, I want to play this game kind of feel.
Actions don't
It
seem
just
to
kind of
have as
feels
big
like
a
a slog.
consequence.
Right. Well, they were saying some of the choice and stuff you make in the game change the way the world turns and stuff like that. But it feels real jarring when I've seen what it happens. It's not like it gradually happens. It's just you load in and the world's suddenly different.
Yeah, we'll kind of see how that goes, and then just I mean I like the idea of it. I see what they're going for with like your actions have consequences, and you do this and it's going to change the map essentially. Well, now you're going to end up with this new area that got built or got destroyed or whatever, and that's a super good concept. But
Well, from what I've been reading, there's two factions in the game, I believe, and if you choose one later on in the game, they set up zip lines, and then the other one has car bombs, I think it was, which good concept, but why would you have to choose sides to have those two options? You know what I mean? There was zip lines everywhere in Dying Light 1. There was car traps everywhere in Dying Light 1. You didn't have to pick a side.
Yeah, which kind of that same deal of I understand the concept they were going for with it, as far as like with the whole factions and kind of like Morrowind or Skyrim or whatever. When you join like Thieves Guild, like there's certain perks and stuff to joining Thieves Guild and getting further up the chain there. Like you got different perks and different things for that, but like, and I see how they're kind of trying to go that direction with it, because I mean, in a zombie apocalypse, you're gonna have different groups and factions that start kind of jockeying for territory and things like that.
Right.
But the way they're going about it seems a little, I don't know, good concept. We'll see how the execution actually is when it gets dropped.
Kind of just feels like they shoehorned it in at the last minute to me.
A little bit.
Like they found, we need more content. Well, what can we do? Oh, well, let's throw zip lines back in here and some car bombs and call it good. It's just the reward for your actions just doesn't add up to me. There's just no real incentive to keep playing.
And by the way, one thing I would like to point out, because I pointed it out earlier with the pre-stream, was the Kyle Crane versus Aiden thing. Like, I'm not sure. I haven't looked into whether or not they use the same voice actor, but he sounds very similar. Like, it just sounds like Crane 1.5. I'd say 2.0, but you know what? It's Crane 0.5 because I liked Crane better.
The original voice actor for Crane in the first one, I believe, was Troy Baker. And this dude, I think, is Sam something. I'm not too sure. I'd have to look it up. But they're completely different voice actors. But to me, it sounds like this guy is doing an impression of Troy Baker doing Kyle Crane.
He's acting, doing an impression of a guy doing an impression acting.
Right.
Like I said, it's like a Crane 0.5 because I like the Crane better. It's like Olaf.
The other thing I kind of want to touch on too would be the interactions between Aiden and this new female character kind of feel forced, whereas in the first Dying Light, it was genuine and unique when Kyle and Jade met, and the build up to, spoiler alert, to when Jade ends up meeting her fate, you felt something about it. You're mad. You wanted to kill Rice.
Yeah.
You son of a gun. That's the kind of thing. With this, it just kind of feels shoehorned in, generic, no real thought put into it other than we're in a zombie apocalypse, I'm a man, you're a woman, and here we are. There's no...
Yeah, which, I mean, through the trailers, we obviously get kind of a shorter lens to look through, so, I mean, I don't know if there's more that happens, like, right at the beginning of game. Kind of like when we first meet Jade in Dying Light 1. I don't know if there's a little bit more that goes into this relationship here, but I kind of hope there is, because, yeah, it does. It feels kind of forced, kind of...
Right. And again, it's a trailer. We're only getting small tastes here and there. I understand that. But even in the small, minor characters in Dying Light 1, you still felt something for. Like, what was that one kid's name that blew himself up and got bit?
Oh.
Jade's brother.
Yeah.
What the hell was his name?
I cannot
Don't remember his name. Raheem, that was his name.
Yeah.
Raheem. Yeah. During that whole sequence, you're going to blow up that volatile nest, whatever. You feel like, yeah, we're getting something done. We're accomplishing something in this world. Then you find out that this kid gets bit after you get back, and that whole sequence where he attacks Kyle Crane is really heart pounding for me. At least for me. I mean, it was one of those, oh man, I really like this side character. He was a cool dude,
Yeah.
And then he just goes out like that.
Like, you feel bad about killing him. Like, you do.
Right, yeah.
Like, you kind of get put in that position of, like, if you watch through, like, The Walking Dead or anything like that, where, you end up with that character that, ends up like, oh crap, my brother got bit, my sister, mother, whatever, good friend got bit, and that, like, having to put them down, like, how you see, you'll see these characters have that, like, inner conflict of, well, I don't want to kill them, they're still my, my family, but they're not my family anymore type of thing,
Right. Now they're a monster that's trying to eat me. What do I do?
Yeah, and you it kind of gave you that sense of conflict of like, man, I don't want to have to do this, but I have to do this.
Right. Well, even though it was a cutscene and it happened anyway, I think it would have had a bigger impact on the storyline, even in Dying Light 1, if it would have gave you a choice between leaving him there in that car and lying about it, and then having his zombie come back later in the game to do something else, surprising or shocking.
Yeah.
Or, like it does play out in the game, he snaps his neck and we move on. Which, even in the way it plays out in the game, is still emotionally taxing, because you're right after Train is banging on the train, and what am I going to tell Jade and this, that, the other, and it gives you a sense of, man, I really don't want to go back to the tower with this knowledge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather just go off in the wild.
Yeah, because once again, because now it's putting you in that position of like, man, I got to go back to the tower and talk to this other character that I've I'm now emotionally invested in about the fact that some really bad crap happened to their brother.
Yeah. So hey, about your brother, nobody wants to have that conversation.
Okay, that was a pretty sick slow mo bow shot there. Watching through some of the fighting is, I don't know, same deal. There's a lot of it still feels kind of clunky and stuff. What happened there? What? Wait, hang on. I'm backing that up for a second. What happened to that guy? I'm kind of confused as to what just happened right there, but okay. Yeah, a lot of the, I don't know. There's some of the fighting that just feels kind of clunky. There's some of it looks like it's got some potential to it. I think this particular gameplay trailer was like 3 months ago. So we still they still have a lot of time, and I'm sure a lot of kind of fine tuning to do with things.
Right.
And I'm hoping that means good and not bad.
Well, you would think when they're pushing the game back the way they do to a later release date that they're taking that time to really fine tooth comb this thing and make sure that it's as perfect as it can be, instead of you have things in the game that don't work with each other.
Yeah, I don't know, that's always been a conversation that I've had with people as far as like, things getting pushed back, things getting postponed on stuff. I don't mind when a game gets postponed. I see a lot of people get kind of upset about it. I don't mind it if that means that I'm gonna end up, they had to postpone it because they're trying to make sure that it's as ready to go as possible. I don't mind that, because that just means I'm gonna, the end result is I'm gonna get a better game to play.
Right.
And with that, there's just a lot of unhappy that tends to go into that.
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the way the current gaming world itself is, and the way that these developers release a game in a broken state and then want to do like a live service thing where they update it throughout the game, or the year or whatever. And it's just like, well, why would you do that when the consumers are already paying top dollar for a AAA game at full price, but there's not full price content in this game?
Yeah, that is always something that has bugged me. I mean, there's sometimes it's okay, sometimes it works pretty well. Like, I mean, granted, Valheim's taking their sweet time with it, but they were a small studio that kind of released what they had because that's what they had. They didn't really have the money and stuff to keep going. So smaller studio like that, has to kind of give us what they got to keep going, and then like now they're taking a lot of the community's suggestions and trying to work a lot of that stuff in. They're working with the community to make the community the best game that they can.
Right, and I think Techland should get props for that as well, because they've done the same thing with Dying Light 1 and the Hell Raid and all that stuff, and now with Dying Light 2, they do listen to the fans and the community. And the one major thing that I had an issue with was the health bars and the level thing that was above the zombies' heads. That to me just kind of broke the immersion altogether. Now I'm playing a RPG when I could just play World of Warcraft and get the same kind of content. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which, I mean, if that's an option, like that's one of those gameplay settings that you can turn off and on, that'd be that'd be fine. Like, I would be totally okay with that. Because, you know, then that gives the players as a whole the option
A choice.
to, you know, play the game how they want to play it, which is sweet. But if that ends up, which I wasn't seeing it in the one gameplay trailer here, so hopefully that is something you can switch off and on, so that way those of us like us that kind of like having that immersion, that, you know, real deep into the story parts of things, can play without it, and then those people who want it can, you know, granted, well, in my opinion, they're wrong, but that's my opinion, and they're entitled to their wrong opinions. But for those who want it, they've got it. You know, there's just a lot that's gonna go into it, and a lot of things that I hope they either make options or they make, you know, just give you the ability to make that choice for your own gameplay.
Right. Same with kind of the HUD setup that I've seen they had. The HUD was all cluttered and everything. And for me, I like not to have a HUD. You know, it helps with my immersion in the game. Have my headphones on, dark room, you know, you're surrounded by creatures that want to eat your face. It really gets your heart bumping. But it takes you out of the moment the second you see a health bar above him. At least for me, it's like, okay, well, now I'm just playing World of Warcraft with zombies.
Yeah, now I'm playing a numbers game. It's especially like with Dying Light 1, because you never knew when it was actually dead. Like, you don't get me wrong, like, you knew it was dead when you smashed its freaking skull in, but, you know.
Well, in the first game, they had the degradation system. You know, you hit a zombie enough times, it gets all bloody and banged up.
Yeah.
And I don't see that here.
Yeah, and like I know with us playing, you know, there's quite a few times to where, you know, middle of a horde, we're fighting 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 of them at once. You know, you grab one, chuck them to the side, you know, give them a couple kicks. You think they're down, turn to the next guy. You know, you're swinging on the second dude, and that one that you just threw down and thought was dead gets up and starts biting him from behind. You know, because you didn't.
Yeah.
Because you didn't, you know, you didn't know that you apparently didn't. The double and triple tap didn't take. It's still up. It's still mad, and the, you know, kind of the immersion of that for me was cool, because it shows that, like, man, you know, they're zombies. They're already dead, so to speak. Like, you got to make sure they're dead. Like, you can't just look at a health bar and be like, oh yeah, his health bar has 0, he's done. Like, I know it's dead. Like, there was those, you had those consequences for not double tapping it. You had those consequences for not just kicking its skull in and making sure. You know?
Right. I learned that early on playing Dynamite 1. You know, I thought this dude was down and turned to go to the next guy. A few seconds later, the one behind me is grabbing me and I'm dead.
Yeah. It made fighting situations, especially in those bigger groups, which was one of the big like deals to it, was they didn't want you to just straight up go fight in hordes. Like, their whole thing with it was, you know,
avoid.
Avoid those hordes, avoid those big giant groups, because, you know, their initial, like, build up and release of the game and stuff was centered around this, like, you know, you have like Dead Rising that, yeah, you know, I can run into a group of 50 zombies and, you know, pretty easily take them all out. Whereas, like, with Dying Light, it was like, okay, you know, especially playing, like, by yourself or just, like, you one other person, 1 or 2 or, you know, a couple, 4, 5, 6 at a time wasn't bad. You know, you start getting up into, like, the 10, all right, no, still not terrible. We can work around it. We can do a little bit of kiting and whatever, but you started getting into some of them situations where you were just plumb surrounded. You know, you had to start looking for ways out.
Right.
Especially on the higher difficulties. Started getting into the higher difficulties on the game settings, and yeah, it fighting 2 or 3 at a time was about all you could do because you'd end up getting overran.
Right, and the stamina system really played into that as well, especially
Yeah,
in the nightmare mode. You're sitting there swinging, 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 or kicking, jumping, whatever, and then you get exhausted and you're just surrounded, and it's like, oh crap! You have the feeling of absolute dread, knowing that you don't have the ability to get out of that situation right now.
yeah. That started playing into like a lot of those consequences and stuff like that. Of you couldn't just run in and start swinging. Like you had to kind of conserve your energy, conserve your fight. Is it really worth? Is it really worth trying to kill these things right now, or are you better off hopping away and kind of doing the old pirate code, fight to run away to fight another day, or run away to fight,
Right.
run away to fight at a different time. Like it's
I will say though, for Dying Light 2, I'm excited to see what kind of new creatures and zombie types they have. That I'm still interested in. I think they have a lot of room to play with there, and a lot of innovation could be made with, because you look at like Left 4 Dead or any other zombie genre type. Typically, the zombie types are all the same. You have your spitter, you have your regular zombie, your big guy, your tank, your demolisher, whatever you want to call it. I think they have a really good opportunity here to give us something new that we haven't seen in any other genre or game. I mean,
oh yeah, which I mean they kind of Dying Light 1 kind of did that with the
volatile.
yeah, the volatiles. They were kind of a little bit different, a little bit. I mean, granted, it was basically just a souped up runner, but
Pretty much.
it gave us something a little bit different to see and fight. And like you said, going from
Speaking of volatile, there's one now.
yeah. Well, actually, I ended up pulling up like the monster gameplay. Yeah, seeing what kind of different stuff they can give us with this one will be neat. That is something I am excited for because this is set, what, 15, 20 years ahead of
Something like that.
Dying Light 1. So, like, in that time, there's a lot of, mutations that could happen. There's a lot of different aspects, whether it be, kind of evolution of, different climates, different types of people getting turned into zombies, what all plays into it. And it'll just be kind of neat to see if what they have to give us with that. Like you said, they have a big opportunity to kind of break away from a lot of those basic types. Because you had, with like Left 4 Dead, you had the spitter, the smoker was kind of a neat one. That was a different one that Left 4 Dead gave us. Then kind of the witches and all that, and in here it's just
the smoker is the one that grabs you with his tongue and drags you in, isn't it?
yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that one was unique. I was thinking of like the exploder zombie, but different zombie.
Yeah, which that's like for us, we got the suicide bomb, bomb ones. I always call boomers because that's what they are. They just blow up.
Now we'll say this footage here looks good. This looks like fucking Dying Light, and now it doesn't. Now it just kind of looks generic, and it's not the atmosphere they have of the city and the coloring and all that. It's just not zombie land. You know what I mean? It's not. The atmosphere doesn't fit anymore. Because even in the first Dying Light, when you're outside, the colors are all dark, gray, and drab and stuff, and it gives you a sense of we're in a slum. Haran was built as a slum type area, crappy houses, poor people, poor area, and this disease just runs rampant and trashes everything.
Yeah.
In this one, it just kind of seems like I don't know. It just seems like it's lacking that kind of atmospheric sense of foreboding that the first one had.
Which I can see. I can see how there's a little bit of it because with this one, it's looking a lot more based in like more of a city, like a more.
I believe this one is based in Turkey somewhere.
Yeah, like it seems based in not as impoverished of an area. Like okay, this is what happens when it ends up in those a bigger city that was a lot more had a lot more to it, had what wasn't as poor of a city.
Right.
So I can see with like having all the skyscrapers and stuff like that, and it not being as much of like a slum area. Because a lot of the stuff pre-zombies would have been brighter and more inviting because it's a city. It's meant to be that way. It's meant to.
I just
draw
want to
people
point out
it.
that one dude looked like Littlefinger. I'm just throwing it out there.
Looked like what?
Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. Him right there. That guy looks like Littlefinger.
Him?
Yep, him. It's Littlefinger, guys. Look at him. He's moving on up in the world. Or is it down? I mean, it's a zombie apocalypse.
Okay,
Dragons, zombies, whatever.
I got to give credit to this guy for rocking like the ugly sweater turtleneck in the zombie apocalypse. That's just
in the 70s porn stash.
He's got the flannel on underneath it. Just good Christmas time fun right there. Slaughtering zombies in an ugly sweater. Allies in the dark, huh? Modern.
I mean, these parts and these cinematic stuff look cool, but it just, the game itself is lacking the same kind of depth to me.
Which, like I said, there's still some potential there. I mean, it could be a lot different between watching and playing too. That'll be one thing that'll kind of make it or break it for me is when I do get in there and get to playing, see what it's actually got.
Well, some of the other people that have been reviewing or whatever have been saying the way the enemies and stuff and other things interact with each other is innovative and stuff, and it's like, not really. They did it in Dying Light 1 as well. You get attacked by bandits in the city and have runners on your tail. You can get the runners to attack the bandits and vice versa. So it's not like this is new.
No, and it's not innovative for Dying Light specifically, and it's not innovative in the game world, period. I mean,
right.
There's a few other games that I do play that, it's the same deal. I mean, heck, look at Valheim. They're which I know I brought them up earlier, but little indie studio, whatever, little five man team that made it. And the other day playing, I took there was a level or a 2-star troll, and I led it into the middle of a Gerblin camp because I knew that giant troll and those Gerblins would start duking it out, and I can stand over here to the side with a bow.
Right. The combat itself just kind of seems, I don't know, linear, I want to call it. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for. But it seems like when you're attacking a group or in a group attacking, whether it be zombies or humans, it's like they're coming at you one at a time, like you see in the movies and shit.
Yeah.
That to me just kind of takes away the whole immersion.
I'm sorry. Did they just Streets Like Decaying Lava. He just made a Floor's Lava reference. They put a Floor's Lava reference in their official trailer. I dig it.
Somehow I'm not surprised. Now, see, these zombie types look interesting. I want to know what they are, what they do.
Yeah.
But they got to have more to it than just that for somebody who's into the zombie genre as deep as I am, you have to have more for me to want to play this when there's so many other zombie type of games out there to play.
And one thing that I was kind of looking at, I can't remember. Did Dying Light have that whole or Dying Light 1? Did they have that like sleeping aspect
Yes.
to it with like the zombies? Because like I know earlier on in one of these trailers, like the zombies were like all crouched down and kind of almost like sleeping. And
Well, not exactly like that. The runners, if you're in Sector Zero, if you snuck up on them, they would be up against the building, like holding their gut and kind of like breathing heavy or whatever. And then right before the sun went down in game and it switched to night, is when the zombies would stare up into the sun and just stand there. That's really the
yeah,
only comparison I can make to it.
yeah, because I mean that could be kind of a cool addition to this is because then you don't necessarily have to fight your way through. Being able to if you do come across an area like that, being able to kind of sneak.
Right. Well, the couple other reviewers and stuff I've watched been saying that they really revamped the stealth mechanics in this game, which I'd be really, really, really interested to see how more fleshed out they've made it than it was in the first game.
Yeah.
Because in the first game, it was kind of basic. I mean, yeah, you could stealth around,
Well,
but as soon as you got found out, you were found. You had to go back to town.
like this right here. Like that. I got a couple comments on that little section right there. One, that was brutal. I I liked everything about how that execution just went. That stealth kill. That was just a really awesome way for that to happen. And it's just we just happened to be talking about the stealth part of it when it popped up on screen. A good example of you sneaking up on somebody. So that I really do hope the stealth aspect of it does get a little bit more fleshed out because that'll
Seems
be
to me also in this game, you're facing more humans than you were in the first game too. So that's kind of cool. I can get behind that.
yeah, because I mean kind of like we were talking about earlier with the you know we're 15 20 years post Dying Light 1, post Crane. So like it's given humans have had this time to kind of like start adapting and fighting back and learning how to survive and start regrouping and rebuilding and jockeying for territory and all that fun stuff. And like yeah, that having those different like it's not just Rise's men that are out there anymore. Like you don't just see Rise's men or just see the random survivor here and there. Like yeah, having kind of those couple factions and the different human enemies, kind of showing that power struggle, how humans will kind of end up going back to kind of a tribal type living. You start getting these different little settlements and civilizations put together that start fighting each other, start, obviously some, I would assume that if it were life, would be, you'd get more diplomatic ones, and then you'd get the ones like, like Rise and his men that are just straight up, no, we're trying to dominate everything. You guys can join us or die.
Right. I also wonder kind of like if like the resources situation would have anything to do with this. One faction against the other, or if it's just a generic "we don't like you" type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather it be like we're fighting over food, water, electricity, whatever it may be. I think that would be more of an investment for the player to be like, well, no, you guys are assholes and trying to take food away from my people. So, you know,
Yeah, and that is going to be a big one for me too. Is that those power struggles? 'Cause like you said, the same way it has always come down for for humans. the same struggle humans have had since the dawn of time or the dawn of humanity, and that they'll have long after a situation like this is that resources. Different groups are going to form. They're going to fight over water. They're going to fight over food. They're going to fight over territory. What, like especially some in a situation like this, they're going to fight over these areas. They're going to be more easily defendable against these zombies. They're going to be safer. They're going to be can we grow food here? There's going to be those resource and power struggles. And hopefully that gets a little bit more showcased with them adding more humans into it.
I will say I like how they have the foliage overgrowth going on now. With like how society's been down for as long as it has, now the Mother Nature is starting to reclaim all that. You got your trees on the buildings and stuff like that. That adds to the atmosphere. That's what I'm talking about. That gives the player a sense of we're 20 years into this mess and the situation really is dire.
Yeah, like it's been 20 years and we don't have like a fully functioning brand new city built. Like, no, it's been 20 years and Mother Nature's actually taken that city down. It's
Was
not
that a
this
zombie type? What was that? That glowing dude. I don't know what that was, but that looked kind of cool. I will say I came into this
Where at?
right before he goes into this room. Somewhere in here. He was like in a corner and he was like glowing and stuff. Oh no, to the left there. What is that?
I don't know what this glowing lights.
Biomass?
Yeah, it looks like some sort of bio something. Chemicals.
Chemicals? It kind of reminded me of like in The Last of Us when you get into the spores and stuff.
Yeah, it was explaining here. GRE doused the whole hospital with it. So apparently it was like chemicals that were supposed to, either like kill the zombies or immunize the people. I don't know. Like that'll be cool to.
One of those. We're helping.
I'm helping.
I will say I came into this review and this live stream with not negative, but critiques of the game. But so far, talking through it, I do have high hopes again. I just hope that Techland listens to the community and fixes these little things that help people that like this genre like I do get immersed so deeply into this game and this world, because it really is a fantastic universe that they built. And I just hope that it succeeds in everything that I would like it to.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's I agree wholly that they have a really good concept and they had a really good first game, and they have a lot that they can take and just run with, and I'm hoping they do that. Like I said, I've said it before with it's got a lot of potential, and I've been absolutely let down by that. But it does show a lot of potential. I mean, the trailers that I'm showing here are a few months old and stuff, and they, seeing what they had 6 months ago, and we still have early mid-February before it actually gets released, publicly released. That they looks like they've got the basic game and everything kind of down. And now it's just going to be optimizing a lot of those finer details, combing it out. And I'm really hoping that in that fine-tune final edit process, they really nail a lot of things down. In a good way.
The only other thing I would add to this would be, like in the first game, when you're jumping off buildings and crashing through rooftops and landing on the ground and stuff, the sound and the feeling gave Crane weight. Like you felt like you were Crane in this world in the physical sense. Whereas in this one, the parkour and the jumping and stuff just kind of feels floaty and weightless and almost I want to say arcade-ish almost.
Yeah, which
I just hope they kind of add weight to the world is kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, which, I mean, that could always be something that kind of got dialed down a little bit for the gameplay trailers, like for the trailers. Something you're just not hearing as well through the trailer. That, you might hear a lot better during, like, legitimate gameplay.
Right.
Because, I mean, in a trailer, you don't want a bunch of freaking Aiden just grunting. So. Because then the video gets sent over to a completely different genre, and that just ends badly. Because we all know the internet.
They're gonna meme it. That's for sure.
Great. Now we got Dying Light Rule 36, Rule 34. That's not what I needed.
This was not the direction I thought it would go in.
Which, real quick, right here, is that a bolter?
Let's eating the dude right now.
Yeah.
Is that might be the new version of a bolter, but the old version was green.
Yeah, because
no, that looks like a different zombie type.
So I'm kind of curious what that is. Now, like, that's a volatile. That's a volatile. But like that just goes back to that different zombie types and stuff. Like that one sitting there, digging whatever out of that guy that it was digging, because it looked like it was digging for something specific. Liver, maybe? I don't know. I hear kidneys.
He's going for the spleen.
Yeah, he wants the spleen. My spleen. But like that's something that's got me wanting to know more. Like, what was that thing? Is it just like a new and improved bolter? Or is it gonna, just absolutely haul the mail away from me? Or is
you know who that dude looked like to me?
Which one?
The guy in the hood. The guy with the hood that grabbed Aiden.
Calm down, Deckard Cain.
Sorry about this.
I wasn't thinking Deckard Cain. I was thinking Yorick from League. The Gravedigger dude.
That looks like a really tiny googly eye right there. Just with where I paused it. Little tiny googly eye.
Oh, it looks like it's supposed to be like cataracts or something. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool design, but still, the graphics are just a little too waxy looking, I guess, would be the best way to put it.
Yeah. Which, like I said, I'm sure this is at a point where they haven't optimized it, haven't really...
Sorry about what? About that. On behalf of all its whores, bandits, and idiots...
Well, you gotta imagine they're running these previews and stuff on some pretty beefy computers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Probably a lot better than anything I got, shit.
Yeah. I ain't no shit. I mean, I know I see a lot of these, like, streamers and stuff out here with, good old 3080s, 3090s. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't got $4,000 to pay for the graphics card alone. Ain't happening. I have to work a day job.
Another thing I'm wondering, too, is you haven't really seen in the trailer is, do the runners still exist? Or are they all now infected? Or not infected, but zombified?
Oh, you're kind of talking with, like, the Walking Dead thing, how they, it's been 15, 20 years. They've kind of decayed down a little bit. They've started getting slower, getting crunchier.
Right. Well, because in the first Dying Light, the runners were people that were just freshly infected, right? They were just starting to turn, and then the actual walker zombies and stuff were the people that had been infected longer. So I'm kind of wondering, we're 20 years into this thing, if there were any runners left at all after 20 years, or if after a certain amount of time, because you gotta imagine your survivor pool is dwindling, of course.
Yeah.
So there can't be that many runners left. So are they all shamblers now, or are they kind of in between? I'd be interested to see how that plays out.
I would like to see, because you have shamblers and you have runners. I want to see the ones that do a light yawn. Like, they're trying, but not very hard.
I just kind of picture the zombies from Call of Duty, the ones that are kind of like in between the full out run and the walk, and they're just kind of like limping towards it real fast. That'd be cool to see something like that.
They're just doing the Bernie towards you. Just got him over here.
I don't know if the zombie wants to eat me or if he wants to take me out on a date, but either way, I'm fine with it.
Well, we're coming up on that hour mark, so probably call her quits here in just a minute. Yeah, I mean, got
closing thoughts?
Yeah, I was about to say, got any closing thoughts on this, or I mean, all in all, I'm hopeful.
My closing thoughts would be, if I were to give it a scale out of 1 on a 10 for my excitement, the first time that I heard that they were coming out with Dying Light 2, I was at a 20, right off the bat, 20, because I love the series, I love the game. Then I started seeing kind of little things here and there, and it slowly went down. I'd say I'm comfortably at about a 7.5 right now for my excitement.
Yeah, I'm still pretty excited. I mean, seeing some of the features and stuff like that hang glider thingy, the parachute. I mean, that's a little bit. I mean, granted, I'm sure once I start playing, I'll end up using the hell out of it. But you know, I'm still excited. I still think it's got a lot of potential. We'll see how that plays out. It's a bold move of Cotton, so you know, it can kind of go either way for me. I'm definitely wanting to see more though. I'm wanting to know more, see more, see how it goes, because they had such a awesome base to start with that it's going to be kind of hard for them to. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done it before, but it's kind of hard for them to mess it up that bad. It still has a lot of the Dying Light feel to it. We'll see where they go with it once it gets optimized down and fine-tuned and released. So, we'll just have to see how it goes. As far as the review stream, I know I've seen a couple people ping in and out here. I appreciate anybody who did kind of pop in. We talked a little bit beforehand about, you know, do we record it? Do we just stream it and then post the, you know, stream recording? And we ended up kind of on the side of, you know what, just like we've generally done things in the past. You know, screw it, we're doing it live. You know, I hate editing video. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it, but it's a lot more fun for us to just do it live and give that opportunity for interaction and stuff, because I like it. I know Dead Guy enjoys it as well, and I mean, I never liked editing things out and sugarcoating stuff. I like to just screw it, we're doing it live. It's a much more real, raw experience for me.
Right. It's a lot more authentic.
Yeah. So, hopefully, if anybody catches this video here later on, you know, after it gets posted, and you make it far enough to see this part of it, thank you for watching this long. You know, thanks for stopping in, at least giving us a check out and a view and stuff. I mean, share it. We're gonna try getting some more stuff out. I'll say it here, and I'll probably say it at the beginning of the next video in, you know, 10 minutes. That gonna start trying to get a lot more content out. Gonna start trying to get some more streams going. My work schedule has changed because we don't do this for a living. I have to work this around my day job. So, you know, hopefully with my schedule changing, I will be a lot more consistent on Wednesdays. For now, I think I'm going to do a lot of Wham Wednesday, which is a RAM with some fun people that I play the Pathfinders with, but you know, I'll probably be switching out games here and there and just kind of getting a little bit of this and that going with it. So, like always, appreciate the crew, appreciate the community. We're just starting out with this stuff kind of, and we love seeing the interactions, love seeing the what little bit of growth it is. We love seeing the growth. So
Right, good, bad, or ugly, it's all the same. It's all good for us.
Yeah.
We love having people interact with us, whether it be criticisms or you're doing good, this, that, the other. For me personally, I like it all. It keeps me driven to keep doing content,
like
even though I'm bad at it.
well, and even those criticisms, that all that does is tell us where we need to improve on. What because we're doing this for ourselves because it's fun. We enjoy it. We like playing games and making content and stuff, but we're also doing this for you, for the community, for other people. So that way, hopefully somebody else out there enjoys it as much as we do. Enjoys watching as much as we enjoy making. So, any of those criticisms on like different games to play, different things to try, any of it, any and all of it. Any PR is good PR, right?
Right.
Unless you're Monica and Clinton. But
well, there goes our monetization.
Nah, it's fine. Everybody knows about it. So, and anything helps. I mean, we like any of that criticism. It tells us what you want, gives us a direction to go with it. So, I appreciate it. In this particular instance and day, we've got about 5-10 minutes, and I'm going to end up going straight back live with probably a little bit of League of Legends, do some ARAM. I'm sure Dead Guy will still be in the Discord with me, quite possibly, unless he's going to go do some editing stuff. Otherwise, I'm going to try and get a couple of my buddies in here with me because they've always got some interesting things to say and do, and it just gets fun. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for your support. It's all appreciated.
Yeah, appreciate it very much, you guys. Stay safe and happy gaming.